Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is James Quintero. I represent the Texas Public Policy Foundation. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of SB 2858. You're probably wondering why there are two TPPFers up here, but the fact is that there is so much local lawlessness right now in our state that it actually takes two of us to communicate that point. And I think that's very evident when you look at things like ISD electioneering, guaranteed income programs, the non-compliance with the Death Star law, the non-compliance with ETJ law, right? There are several different buckets where cities and counties are either frustrating the law or they're openly thwarting it. And it is critical that we restore some semblance of the rule of law. And I think we get there in part through the passage of SB 2858. Now, I want to point to two pieces of evidence that I've provided to you in furtherance of that point. The first is an article that I was surprised to read. It is from a San Marcos City Council member published last year, a full year after the Death Star law had actually been put into effect. If you look at paragraph 3, there's one line in particular that I find very troubling. This San Marcos City Council member says, "I am part of a chorus of countless local leaders statewide who know that Republican state lawmakers passed HB 2127 for one reason and one reason only, to deter us from advancing common sense policies that help working families thrive. It's time to call their bluff." Now, it is absolutely mind-boggling that a local leader would call for upending state law and discarding the rule of law. I think it's very obvious that we need some sort of enforcement mechanism to help push us back in line and help get the lawlessness under control. For anyone interested, the second piece of evidence that I provided you is a resolution passed by the College Station City Council that makes its own determination about SB 2038, finds it to be unconstitutional, and then on the basis of its own determination says we're not going to follow the law. That's unacceptable. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Members, questions of anyone on the panel? Hearing none. Oh, Senator Johnson.
Mr. Quintero, I'm looking at your reference here to paragraph 3.
Yes, sir.
You said he's openly counting for defiance of the law. I don't see him saying that in here. Where I missed that. Is there a quote in here that says we should defy state law?
So if you look at the very last line of the third paragraph, it says it's time to call their bluff. I think there's an implicit understanding that these activist officials.
It's implicit. Got it. It's implicit. Okay.
That's exactly right, Senator Johnson.
And I would ask Texas Public Policy Foundation, who testifies routinely in this legislature in favor of due process, rule of law, the proper administration of justice, if you think there's a meaningful appeal for a municipality when they're deprived of revenue, I'm sorry, never mind an appeal, a trial. They're deprived of revenue. Can they really afford to litigate this? Or do they just have to roll over every time the Attorney General brings a lawsuit? As a practical matter.
So I'm not an attorney. Let me preface that statement. But if we're coming at it from a principled fashion, the system we have in place right now permits a level of lawlessness that I think this body ought to find unacceptable. And the way that it's structured, we are expecting a person who is being infringed upon. Let's take a resident of the city of College Station. A resident may not use a lawful process passed by this body because the city of College Station has made its own determination that some law is unconstitutional. And so now we are expecting that individual to risk their time, money, and reputation to make sure that the municipality follows the law. I don't think that's right.
So I understand your concern. Do you understand mine?
The due process? Yes, sir.
That a city cannot effectively contest anything the state does, or it loses the revenue that it depends upon to operate. And I do understand your concerns. Just do you understand mine?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.